So when we think about guard passing, one of the things that I'm really in favor of is standing and passing. I've actually probably done this for a great part of my career, since I was maybe like a solid blue belt or so. A lot of it is because you can apply more force and leverage on your partner when you're in a standing position. I know some people that are really in favor of always having low passes, and that's great, but when you have a partner with very strong legs or big body, it's going to be very hard for you to use your shoulder or just use your small body against that part, okay? So when I think about standing and passing, we've talked about this idea of entering into their zone. I'm going to confidently enter into Stephan's zone because I know how I want to guard pass. And the thing that I want to remember here is I'm going to break his posture down. So Stephan's already sitting up in an open seated guard. I need to think about applying pressure and keeping him down on the mat. So when I go to step in, I like to walk in very deeply with my forward foot. So I'm going to not step in a mid-range zone. I'm not going to stay too far away, but I have to time myself to come right in. If I'm stepping in deep, it prevents Stephan from being able to block me really well, right? So his hands are open, which is the right thing to do, but the thing that I want to keep in mind is a little bit of hand fighting again, so it goes back to that whole thing about grip fighting. Very important. This is our first point of contact. So I need to either swipe his hands away, move them however which way I want, because I want to step in deep. Once I step in deep, I want to think about pushing his shoulders, his head, his chest, driving him to the floor. As I drive him to the floor, I need to keep him on the floor. So the important thing here is that the palm of my hand is going to thrust right underneath his sternum. If you notice, I stepped my right leg over, so now I'm straddling one of his legs. When I'm here, I'm thinking about applying an even amount of pressure between each of my 3 posts. So my 2 legs and my hand are equally playing pressure on Stephan. This hand in the sternum is really important. It's not a grab on the lapel, it's not grabbing at the side, but it's right up into the middle of his sternum. The reason for this is if Stephan tries to sit up, it actually makes it very uncomfortable for him. It feels like it's more pressure than it really is. Most of the time, people from this position are going to pull their knees in towards themselves a little bit to protect their body. They don't want to get their guard passed. This is perfect because with this hand on the sternum, my outside hand is going to come on top of his knee. When it comes on top of his knee, I'm going to look to actually push his leg straight back and kick my back leg straight up. Now when I do that, it's that same idea with the grip breaking. I'm moving in 2 different directions, so I'm creating more momentum and more force. I want to apply about 60% pressure into my hand, 40% into my foot, and from here I'm going to weigh down. I've removed 1 post, and I'm going to come to knee on belly, and then cross-side I've passed. So again, I'm here. I'm not playing too far out. I want to grip fight, get in, drop pressure, maintain it. Trap the knee, hand on the knee. I'm going to thrust up, 60-40 pressure, come back through knee on belly, and pass. From a different angle, guys, let's watch the pressure again. So I'm coming in, hand fighting, I'm going to get in deep, hand pressure. From here, I've straddled the legs. I'm going to push, kick, and then from here, I'm going to drop my knee and come through. Part of the reason why I like to try and drop my knee on this hip is because someone that's a lot bigger than you, or someone who has long legs even, once you kick yourself through, you're going to step through, and if you don't seal the hip off, they can often maybe get on their side and shrimp away from you and drag their knee back in, which you don't want. So that's why I like to hip thrust, come through, and just trap their hip a little bit so I can prevent them from re-guarding.